2018 Ford Shelby GT350. 2018 Ford Shelby GT350 review. The 2018 Ford Shelby GT350 might appear like a pumped-up Mustang, however it's so much a lot more than that. This is liable the only year you can actually argue that the Ford Shelby GT350 is inferior to your regular Mustang. While the typical Mustang that it is based on gets to be a significant update this season that includes new styling and features, the GT350 stays the identical. Luckily for individuals, we like the Shelby GT350 precisely the way it truly is. The GT350 is usually a muscle car for your track day obsessed. Yes, it shares some looks and interior parts while using standard Mustang, even so the key differences are hidden from view. Under the hood is often an on-turbocharged 5.2-litre V8. It revs around 8,200 revolutions per minute, punches out 526 horsepower, and also has a flat plane crankshaft that lends a unique warble to your engine sound. From there, the GT350 carries a race-tuned adaptive suspension, high-performance brakes, and everything supportive powertrain upgrades that set it apart. It'll set down thick stripes of rubber inside a straight line, naturally. Nevertheless, the GT350 is most in the home around an elaborate racetrack or possibly a winding mountain road. Despite its concentrate on performance, the GT350 is comfortable and relatively quiet, once your right foot isn't planted onto the floor, and it also could easily be a daily driver. Well-rounded and massively entertaining, the GT350 is certainly a notion of the ultimate Mustang. What's new? While the normal 2018 Mustang receives a variety of updates, including refreshed back and front styling, the 2018 Shelby GT350 is unchanged. Our recommendation to the Shelby GT350 is to find the base model. Just make sure to have the optional electronics package. The standard GT350 standard infotainment product is pretty underwhelming, but getting that package replaces it with many key upgrades, offering an 8-inch touchscreen with Sync 3, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with a 9-speaker audio system with satellite radio. Trim levels and features. The 2018 Ford Shelby GT350 is really a high-performance version in the Mustang Coupe. There are two trim levels, the bottom GT350 as well as the race-focused GT350R. Essentially, the GT350 will be the track day version of the Mustang and, so, it offers many performance features you won't ever see on the standard rental Mustang. Standard equipment for that base GT350 has a 5.2-litre V8, 526 horsepower and 429 pound-feet of torque, a 6-speed manual transmission, 19-inch wheels, adaptive suspension dampers and heavy-duty springs, Brembo brakes, a Torsen rear differential, with 3.73 gearing, a front suspension tower brace, 3 powertrain coolers, oil, differential and transmission, adjustable drive settings, xenon headlights, a rear spoiler and diffuser, and keyless ignition and entry. Inside, you will find manually adjustable Recaro front seats with simulated suede inserts, a tilt and telescoping steering column, a leather-wrapped leader, Bluetooth, a 4.2-inch center display, track apps performance telemetry, a rear-view camera, phone and audio voice commands, sync, smartphone app integration, and also a 6-speaker speakers with 2 USB ports. Opting for your electronics package equips the GT350 with dual-zone automatic climate control, an 8-inch touchscreen with Sync 3, with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, a navigation system, and also a 9-speaker speakers with satellite radio. The convenience package adds leather upholstery, driver seat memory settings, 6-way power adjustable sport front seats with power lumbar with the driver, and heating and ventilation with the front seats. The GT350R gets most with the GT350's standard equipment, plus 19-inch carbon fiber wheels, with special Michelin tires, revised suspension tuning and aerodynamic body enhancements, front chin splitter and carbon fiber rear wing, particularly The GT350R comes with no air conditioning, head unit, floor mats, rear seat, rear view camera, sync system and tire inflation kit. To get those features back, Ford provides the R Electronics package, which puts most of it in the car along with all the dual-zone climate control, 9-speaker speakers, plus the previously mentioned 8-inch touchscreen with Sync 3. Trim tested. Each vehicle typically also comes in multiple versions that happen to be fundamentally similar. The S within this review are depending on our full test with the 2016 Ford Shelby GT350, 5.2 liters V8, 6-speed manual, RWD. Note, since this test was conducted, the existing Ford Shelby GT350 has brought only minor revisions including the addition with the track suspension as standard equipment, or test car was preloaded with that option, plus the introduction of some additional available choices. Our findings remain applicable to this coming year's Ford Shelby GT350. Driving. Ford has every straightaway to be proud with this car. It's well-rounded, well-mannered and well-equipped enough to take care of most something you like it to. It's arguably the top Mustang ever built, in the motor to your handling to your sheer thrill it gives drivers. Acceleration. This engine is impressively flexible. It may feel somewhat soft under 3,500 revolutions per minute, however it never stumbles and it is happy to be driven casually. Once you allow it to go rip, you'll find nothing else enjoy it. The power is astonishing. Addicting. And that sound. Braking. The pedal is usually a bit firm and does require some effort. But these are incredibly capable brakes which are easy to modulate out and about. Challenging roads didn't induce any fade. Bonus, they've got massive look and feel when parked. Steering. It's accurate and responsive but largely lacking feel. There are 3 selectable modes, Comfort, Normal and Sport, however the differences are minimal. The tire feels really good in your hands, plus the buttons avoid getting in the way. Handling. Good, predictable grip however, not as aggressive as you may expect. Well-mannered on all kinds of pavement. Superior turn-in is probable a consequence on the GT350's unique tires and alignment because doing so has exactly the same steering rack because the GT. Drivability. Tricky clutch take-up, but as together with the brakes, you quickly get accustomed to it. The engine is very happy to lope through traffic and don't feel high-strung or finicky. The gears are well stacked, nevertheless the plasticky shift action might be better. Comfort. Just as impressive because the 5.2-liter V8 will be the comfort and degree of refinement from the GT350. Over various road surfaces, the Shelby remains composed and predictable and give the driver an abundance of confidence. The car is well within its rights to become a lot worse yet still get away with it. Seat comfort. Though the seats look similar to your car as obtainable in the GT, the bolsters are shaped differently and do not interfere with gear selection as they possibly in the regular Mustang. The seats are extremely supportive and quite comfortable over long distances. Ride comfort. If the engine wasn't so amazing, the adaptive suspension would steal the show. It's surprisingly comfortable considering the car's performance focus. Normal and Sport modes are suitable for almost any road condition. Body control is fantastic. Even track mode isn't punishing. Noise and vibration. The cabin is surprisingly quiet, particularly for a car with frameless windows and aggressive tires. In the default exhaust mode, the V8 keeps to itself, with simply a hint of resonance around 1,800 revolutions per minute. No buzzes or rattles. Climate control. The single-zone climate control technique is shared using the standard Mustang. It's straightforward and efficient and keeps up even if you're driving hard. Interior. Thankfully, the GT350 doesn't deviate an excessive amount from the typical Mustang's interior layout. Though some shortcomings remain, the Recaro seats, straightforward instrumentation and simulated suede accented tire help keep the inner from getting within the way of your good time. Ease of usage. Most controls are happy Mustang pieces, though the base radio and media interface is incongruously low buck. It's a nod to austerity. The greater touch screen is optional, though with too many buttons, a number of them unlabeled, it does not take low point on the interior. Getting into, getting out. As aggressive and supportive since the Recaro seats are, they're relatively very easy to get in and outside of. The long doors causes it to be easy but sometimes also be a hassle within a confined space. Access towards the rear seat is laughable, as would be the legroom. Driving position. The manually adjustable Recaros are superb and provide more than adequate support for many. The controls position and spoke layout are great. It's comfortable and very easy to drive within a relaxed or aggressive manner. Roominess. Interior space is not compromised inside the name of performance. There's adequate headroom and shoulder room for a few adults, however, some might find the middle console a little bit intrusive. The rear seats might be of interest as storage. Visibility. Aided by way of a lower profile hood, the GT350 has decent outward visibility, especially with the segment. The rear quarter windows are appreciated even though they may be small. The tiny rear-view camera display is disappointing. Quality. With the exception of the bed space multimedia interface, fit and handle is fairly good. Cheap-feeling plastics are available, but most inner control surfaces feel appropriate, the shift knob being the only real exception. No squeaks or rattles. Utility. No one's planning on buying a GT350 depending on its ability to carry lumber and big gallop. Even so, the Shelby retains every bit of the standard Mustang's practicality. You might have to declutter to seek out room for use on your effects, though the usable trunk helps make the GT350 an everyday driver proposition. Small item storage. There's not much of a ton of space for small items outside in the center console and cup holders. The door pockets are saved to the small and shallow side. Cargo space. Even using the slightly high liftover, both trunk access and cargo space are decent to the class. And the GT350 retains split and folding rear seatbacks, which provide even more flexibility and practicality. Technology. Multimedia and integrated technology were never the greatest priorities from the GT350. Our car's lackluster performance with this area is usually quite curable by adding the electronic package. Audio and navigation. This GT350 came while using bass speakers, which lacks navigation along with the 8-inch LCD touchscreen. Though the quality of sound is adequate, this bass system looks low rent, especially within a vehicle in this price. Smartphone integration. Phone integration is reasonably straightforward with both Apple and Android phones, but nothing special. The optional electronic package makes technology integration easier and involve less guesswork.